Dear viewers, Drishti IAS welcomes you to the new series of To The Point. Today's topic of discussion is war crimes. First of all, let's see why is it in the news. Since Russia invaded Ukraine, its troops have increasingly hit civilian sites with airstrikes and artillery, raising concerns that war crimes are being committed. Recently, the International Criminal Court, that is ICC, announced that it would open an investigation into possible war crimes or crimes against humanity in Ukraine. Now let's discuss what is a war crime. War crimes are defined as serious violations of humanitarian laws during a conflict. The definition was established by the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, that is ICC. It is derived from the 1949 Geneva Conventions and is based on the idea that individuals can be held liable for the actions of a state or its military. There is a long list of acts that can be considered war crimes. The taking of hostages, willful killings, torture or inhuman treatment of prisoners of war, and forcing children to fight are some of the more obvious examples. Now let's discuss about the identification of war crimes. To decide whether an individual or a military has committed a war crime, international humanitarian law lays down three principles. First is distinction. This principle says that you have to be constantly trying to distinguish between civilian and belligerent populations and objects. Next is proportionality. Proportionality prohibits armies from responding to an attack with excessive violence. Precaution requires parties to a conflict to avoid and minimize the harm done to the civilian population. There is a long list of acts that can be considered war crimes, but in practice, there is a lot of grey area within that list. The law of war do not always protect civilians from death. Not every civilian death is necessarily illegal. Raids on cities or villages, bombing residential buildings or schools, etc., do not necessarily amount to war crimes, but if their military necessity is justified. The same act can become a war crime if it results in unnecessary destruction, suffering, and casualties that exceed the military gain from the attack. Now lastly, let's discuss about genocides. The UN Office on Genocide Prevention and the Responsibility to Protect separates war crimes from genocide and crimes against humanity. War crimes are defined as occurring in a domestic conflict or a war between two states. However, genocide and crimes against humanity can happen in peacetime or during the unilateral aggression of a military towards a group of unarmed people. Now it's time for the practice question. Which of the following acts can be called war crimes? 1. Inhuman treatment of prisoners of war. 2. Taking of hostages. 3. Raids on cities. 4. Bombing residential buildings. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 and 3 only, 1, 3 and 4 only, 2 and 3 only, or 1, 2, 3 and 4. Send the answer of this question in the comment section. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Dear viewers, watch this topic in Hindi on our Drishti IAS Hindi YouTube channel.